What's going on, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to create this simple and effective title inside DaVinci Resolve. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Josh Haynes. I'm a freelance filmmaker and I bring out videos that help you grow as creators. Consider subscribing if you have not already. So we're going to be jumping inside DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do this title that I showed you at the beginning of the video. It's very simple and there's a lot of different ways you can customize it. So let's jump inside DaVinci Resolve and get going. Earlier I said this is a very simple yet effective title, and that is true. There is so much you can do inside this to make it customized to the video you're needing to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna go over here under the edit page is where I'm sitting inside. We're gonna go to the toolbox, we're gonna go to effects, and we're gonna grab a fusion composition, and I'm gonna drag it in over here. I prefer doing this instead of using a title that is going to be under titles because I want to do multiple titles. You could go about it with the Text Plus because we're going to be going inside Fusion. Don't run away. Don't be so scared. Fusion's not that intimidating. I just prefer to do a Fusion composition. So what we're going to do is we're going to hover on top of it, the clip that we want, and we are going to click the Fusion tab right here. It's going to bring us inside the Fusion page. And then in here, what I like to do is start off with my node tree. So I'm going to hit a background right here on this little toolbar that I've got right here. You could hit Shift Spacebar and it'll bring up your search bar. I'm going to connect that node to the out right here. If you have two screens on just like this, you can do one or two. I only need one because that's just what we need for today. So I'm going to unclick that button. Again, if you needed to change it, it's right up there at the top. And then right here, we are going to go ahead and click the background, and I'm going to turn the alpha all the way down. So when I'm loading this into a project or I jump back into the editor, it has a transparent background. You can't see anything now because obviously there is nothing behind it. So it's just going to look black, but that would be a very key point. So if you get this whole thing done, you can't figure out why you can't see it, and it's just sitting on top of black and you can't see the video underneath, that would be why. Background, go over here to the tools, go to the background, and then turn the alpha all the way down. Now I'm gonna leave that alone. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a text in here, and I'm gonna hit Shift on my keyboard while clicking and holding this. And again, I am on a Mac, and we are gonna drop this in our timeline right here. I'm gonna bring the text above here. It's gonna attach a merge to keep our node tree in and out. And then in here, we're gonna go ahead and just start saying what we want to say. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do DaVinci, and I am going to highlight it. I am going to pick a text that I like. We're just going to do impact. I'm going to make the size a little bigger, and I think that's good. Now, if I want to do the shading like I did with the other, I'm going to jump inside shading, and I am going to be under number 1, selected elements. I'm going to go to gradient because I like that. I think it's a little interesting. I'm gonna kind of just adjust this a little bit more so it's a little bit more dramatic right there. Maybe not quite that dramatic. I think that looks pretty good. And then we're gonna go back to text, make sure I don't want to do any spacing, you know, on the tracking, anything like that. I think it looks good the way it is. Now, what we need to do to animate this in is we are gonna right click on it. We are gonna go down to follower right here. It's going to automatically follow what we need it to do. I know you don't see anything happening yet. That's okay. I'm going to go to keyframe 10 right here. I'm going to go over here to modifiers under the inspector. I'm going to click on modifiers. I'm going to go to shading, and I am going to just start playing around with some things. So I want this to turn and I want it to fade. So I'm going to turn the opacity. I'm going to add a keyframe, and I'm going to go to rotation, and I'm going to add a keyframe on the Y. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I am going to grab the Y right here, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate it just like so. I think that looks pretty good. Scroll back up here to the top, turn the opacity all the way down. That way it will fade in while it's turning. If we play that through, that looks pretty good, just like that. Now, the reason I made sure I did not add a keyframe on opacity until I was done with my rotation is because I wouldn't be able to see where it was. If I went on ahead and added the opacity here and then here, then did the rotation, I wouldn't be able to see how far I'm rotating. So I like saving that till the end. Now we're gonna go over here again under modifiers. We're gonna go to timing, and we are gonna go to delay. I'm gonna add, let's do a 2.4, and let's see how that looks. I kind of like that. It kind of rolls in a little bit, just like so. And again, if we wanted to do something a little different, instead of it just going in a row under here of order, instead of automatic, we could do inside out. So we could do something like that. That's kind of cool. I don't like it as much because the way it's rotating, again, that's something you could customize yourself. We're just gonna leave ours automatic, so it's just rolling in from left to right, and I think that looks great. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that is Artlist. I've been using Artlist for a very long time now, and honestly, it's a little hard to think about what it was like before I started using them. They are always giving you amazing quality stuff, plus they're bringing new stuff all the time. They recently just did a collab with Luke Smiles called Make It Move. This is an After Effects template that you can load inside there, and you can customize this. I've got to say, I played around with it, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, of course, I am a DaVinci Resolve editor, and they do have DaVinci Resolve stuff inside Artlist, as well as they have music, sound effects, videos, templates, you know, presets, whatever you want. They've got it inside there. They've got multiple plans. We've talked about them before. If you're someone that's been considering checking out Artlist, I have a link in the description below. It's going to give you 2 extra free months when you sign up for a yearly subscription using that link. Thank you so much, Artlist, for sponsoring this video and other creators just like me. Now, we do need to make our resolve. Again, if you wanted to, under tools, you could go in here and you could go ahead and add, you know, resolve, and it would do the same thing. It's going to rotate these. I don't really care for that, so I'm gonna hit Command Z, kind of get rid of that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight both of these. I'm gonna hit Command C, click off of it, hit Command V, again on a Mac. I'm gonna hold this and click the Shift button in on my keyboard and drop it in. Now it is going to duplicate everything we've done to that text. This may seem like we're moving slow, but it's because I'm kind of walking you through this. I can do this in under 1.5 minutes if I need to. So in here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just change DaVinci to Resolve. And I am just going to bring it down here, just like so. I'm gonna go ahead and make the size a little smaller, and I'm gonna bring it over just like that, because I think moving it offset looks kind of cool. And then we're gonna go inside of shading. We're not going to the modifier shading, we're going to the tools shading. Don't get those two confused. In the tools tab under the inspector in the shading, I am going to do outline, and I am going to do a solid. And in here, I want to change this color. Let's say we want to make it a yellow. I think that looks kind of cool, just like so. Under join style, let's make it a little sharper so the edges are a little bit more of a corner. And I think that looks good. Again, if I wanted to change the style of the text, I would go back to the text. And in here, I would find a different style that I want. And let's say I like this text right here. I do need to make it smaller because, again, we have changed it a little bit. I'm just going to click these arrows and kind of adjust it, fine tune it, just like so. I think that looks cool. And then what we're gonna do is if we want to make the size thicker, the line that's around it, we jump back in the shading. We would go under thickness right here, under properties, and we could turn that up if we wanted it to be way thicker. It will start to get a little weird on you, so I'm gonna kind of just go a little higher than I was. Play that through, and I think that looks really good. Again, because it's copying and pasting the exact same keyframes that are in the first one, it's making your life that much easier. If you wanted to change it up very easily without having to change the keyframes, we'd click on text 1 where we've been this whole time. We'd go to modifiers, and then under order, we could do right to left. The only thing is I don't like that it's rotating weird, so we'd go to modifiers, shading, scroll all the way down to where rotation is, and we see it's 86.1, so let's just add a minus 86.1. And now it's just gonna be the opposite. It's just gonna rotate in from the opposite direction, and I think that looks really good. Then you can hop back inside your editor, and in here, you can play it through again, make sure that looks good. I think that looks cool. Again, you can see the difference of that style that I did to this one. And if we want to make it smaller and down in the corner, I would just go over here under transform, and I would just zoom it down a little bit. Or underneath your viewfinder, you could just click the transform, move it around right here. I think that looks good right there. And that's how you make a simple yet effective title inside DaVinci Resolve. You're amazing. I'm the Iron Giant. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.